Hey guys, Plotagon7 here. You may have clicked on this video because you found a glitch in the Plotagon app. Or perhaps you have some ideas for new scenes, costumes, or features that you want to share. Whatever the reason, I'm sure you have one burning question.
How do I contact Plotagon? I really want to tell them something, but I don't know how.
No pressure, because in this tutorial, I will walk through the entire process of how to properly contact Plotagon, along with some additional tips to help. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. To start off, the first thing that you need to figure out is the correct place to contact Plotagon. So, where are you supposed to go? Your first guess might be on any one of their social media accounts, like on their YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok accounts. After all, it is very easy to write a comment, so this should be the answer, right? Wrong. Plotagon's social media accounts are not built for customer support. You might have made this mistake in the past, and if you did, don't feel bad. But please be aware that writing on their social media accounts is not a viable option. Plotagon will usually respond to such comments with an email address to contact them at. So, you're supposed to email them. But what does this email address mean, exactly? Well, you see, Plotagon has two email addresses. support@plotagon.com and community@plotagon.com. Each has its own specific purpose, so you have to choose which one is the better fit for your email. Support@plotagon.com is reserved for app support, as the name suggests. This includes things like reporting glitches, requesting updates, and asking questions about Plotagon in general. If your concern is one of the above, email them there. On the other hand, community@plotagon.com deals with community-based events, such as challenges. I'll go more on it later. So you selected the correct email address? Great, time to begin writing your email. Now at this point, you may be asking yourself,
But, what should I say in my email? I should just tell them the basic issue I'm facing and leave it there, right?
nope, there's more to it than that. Plotagon needs as much information to fully understand your situation. In the next segment, I will go over the tips, tricks, and recommendations on how to make a good email. However, since the process varies from topic to topic, we'll split it into 3 parts: glitches, updates, and community events. This is fine. Did you know that glitches and fires are a lot alike? They spread like crazy, do a terrible amount of damage, and... Actually, I'm getting off track. As I was saying, glitches are very annoying. Some can be so minor, they're almost unnoticeable. But for the bigger, more uncontrollable ones, they can crash your game, or worse. If you find a glitch, regardless of how severe it may be, you must report it to Plotagon immediately. When reporting a glitch, you must describe what it is and how you encountered it. This includes answering questions like, what does the glitch do? How does the glitch affect your app? How did you discover the glitch? These questions are an absolute must, because without them, Plotagon will not be sure of what you're dealing with. Next, I recommend you provide a visual aid, like a photo or video of the glitch, in your email. These are extremely useful for Plotagon in tracking and identifying the issue. Pictures like these, for example. Whoa, that last one was a doozy. I also suggest you provide the make and model of your device in your email, like an iPhone, Android, iPad, or a PC. The reason why Plotagon needs this is because sometimes, glitches can appear on certain devices and not on others, so I highly recommend writing it down. Same goes for your device's operating system, that's very important too. Lastly, you should also send in what version of the Plotagon app that you're using. Since you could be on an outdated version, always make sure you download Plotagon to the latest version. If you're confused about anything in this segment, don't worry. I will write an example email towards the end of this video, so stay tuned. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Plotagon made your dream update come true? Yeah, think about it. New scenes, new clothes, new emotes. The possibilities are endless. However, it goes without saying that one does not simply beg Plotagon for stuff. Like anything, there's a whole process that you need to go through. So let's get right into it. The number one rule when it comes to requesting updates is to be specific. Make sure that Plotagon exactly knows what you want. Do you want a new scene? If so, what kind of scene do you have in mind? For example, let's say that you want a new restaurant scene. As of this video's release, there are currently 5 of them. A fancy restaurant, a cafe, Dodo's Diner, Joe's, and the Laughing Narwhal, a pub. There's already quite a bunch, don't you think? So to not mix it up, you have to specify what new restaurant scene you want, preferably one that hasn't been done yet. Like say, a pizzeria, or a bakery, or maybe a food truck, or a drive-thru. It definitely gives you some food for thought. Of course, the same thinking should be used for everything else, like clothes. If you want new Plotagon clothing, there are multiple things you should consider. Do you want more colors to pick from on a pre-existing piece of clothing, or do you want a new costume altogether? Do you want an alternate variant where it's holding a prop, like a phone, or a gaming console? Remember, it's important to be as specific as possible when requesting an update, so don't you forget it. Okay, quiet down, audience. Shh. Anyway, for community events, this is the only time where you're supposed to write to the community@plotagon.com email address. Since you're writing about the Plotagon community instead of the app itself, always make sure you send it there. The email is mostly used for community-based events hosted by Plotagon, such as community challenges, where you can win free prizes for a video, Plotagon News, a line of news reports on the app's status, the Ploscars, where your videos can win prestigious awards, and the Plotagon Film Festival, where you can showcase never-before-seen videos to a live audience. Any questions, feedback, or submissions for any of these events should be sent to community@plotagon.com.
Hold on. I don't mean to be rude, but I always leave questions and upload my videos for events on YouTube. Are you saying we should email them from now on instead?
No, absolutely not. Don't get me wrong, you can still email your questions and entries for Plotagon events, but if you want to post them on social media, go ahead. Email is only mandatory for certain things like glitches and updates, but for community events, it is merely optional. However, it could be a requirement for some people. If you don't have a social media account, but you still want to participate in a community event, then you have to email your video in order to qualify. Follow the instructions as per the event guidelines, and email it to community@plotagon.com within the given time frame. If your video is for a challenge, attach your user ID to the email too. If you win, Plotagon will use your user ID to redeem your prize onto your Plotagon account. And, with that, you should be good. Alright, now that we've covered everything there's to emailing Plotagon, it's time to begin actually writing the email. In this case, I will report a glitch, since I predict that most people will email them for that reason. Specifically, the floating head. I'll be using Gmail, but I assume other email providers will work just as well. You don't have to necessarily copy my email word for word, but try to keep it along these lines. Let's get started. Alright, we've loaded up Gmail. First, we need to type a recipient, or who we'll send our email to. Since we're going to write about a glitch, we need to choose support@plotagon.com as the recipient. Next is the subject of our email, and in this case, it's the floating head glitch. Are you following along? Good. Let's move on to the body. This is where you will write everything about the glitch down. However, to be polite, I recommend you begin with a brief introduction first. Something like, "Hey Plotagon. This is the Plotagon 7. I hope you're doing well. I've noticed a glitch in Plotagon story. Allow me to explain it to you." That's a nice example. Anyway, now we should talk about the glitch. Previously, we wrote a list about all the things we should say in an email about glitches. So, we'll follow that as we go along. Our first things to address here are what the glitch does, and how it affects our app. An appropriate response in this case would be, the glitch makes your character's body disappear. As a result, the character is left with just their head, floating in midair. Yeah, I think that looks good. Second, we need to tell Plotagon how we found the glitch in the first place. How about this? When a bald character is put in a scene, and the camera is either too close to them, or in dialogue mode, they'll become a floating head. Great. We've so far covered what the glitch is, and how we discovered it. Now, we need a photo, or a video, of the glitch. Photos are useful if you want to show Plotagon what the glitch looks like, whereas videos are more for physically showing them how you found the glitch. You can choose one, or the other, or both if you'd like, it's up to you. But in this case, I'll send them a photo. To get the photo, we need to hover down to Insert Photo, and click it. Oh, and as you can see, I already have a photo of the glitch saved to my Google Photos. If you don't have anything here, it will ask you to select files from your device. Let's attach this to our email. There. Next, we need to determine the device info, like the make and model, and operating system we're on. In my case, when it comes to what general device I was using an iPhone. But here's the thing. They want to know what kind of iPhone I was using. They're not just asking for the brand, but for my particular type of iPhone. So instead of just iPhone, I should replace it with iPhone 15 Plus. Because that's the exact make and model of my device. Now, for the operating system. It varies between devices, and it updates from time to time. But currently, my operating system is iOS 17.4.1. If you don't know your operating system, it should be there in the Settings app. And, last but not least, we need to say what version of Plotagon that we were on when the glitch happened. For me, I was using the latest version, which is version 1.43.11, at the time of this video. And, yes, there you have it. Our email to Plotagon is officially complete. All that's left to do now is to send it. And there you have it. One last thing before I go, do not expect an immediate response from the Plotagon team. Wait at least a few days for them to reply to your email. After all, they are very busy. Well, that concludes this tutorial on how to contact Plotagon. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions about this video, or possibly confused about a certain part, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos, or tutorials, from me. Bye.